And we are live. Sbtalksports, real takes over fake debates. Here with Sean Webb with me again. It is Monday. Shout out to the sponsor of the show, Swift Energy. Go to swiftenergy.gg to get 20% off your order every time you order. Sean, what's going on? Happy Monday. How you feeling?
Man, doing good, man. How you doing, man? Happy Monday to you.
Yeah, it's Monday. You know, it feel like a Monday. That's what it's Monday. It feel like Monday, man. But besides that, can't complain, bro. You know, rocking out, man. Ready to talk some sports, man. How you feeling?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things going on. You know, last show we talked about how the 65 game rules and players are complaining. And now we're seeing it come into full effect because we knew at some point that somebody was going to be affected. And that's why the rule was in place. And I don't feel sorry for the players of the situation because they brought this upon themselves with the taking off games, sitting out important games. It'll be key matchups that we want to see as fans, and they don't play. So now we got people who have fans complaining with the signs like, oh, man, I flew all the way from here, or I paid X amount of dollars for these tickets. I wanted to see this player. You don't get to see it. So now the NBA implemented a rule, and now you get the rule implemented in a situation. Now it's a problem. But Senator Joel Embiid, to undergo surgery on his left knee, and he will miss significant time. And with those significant time that he will miss, he will become ineligible for the MVP. He's one of the top MVP guys. I got a question for you, but first I want to know what your reaction to Embiid getting hurt and him being ineligible for MVP.
So the injury he has is a meniscus injury, apparently. I've had that injury, both medial and lateral meniscus, depending on what's going on with his knee. And when they go in, because basically they have to do a scope. When they go in and do it, depending on what's going in, they basically have to clean it up or whatever. So you're talking normally after surgery, like a 6 to 8 week recovery at minimum. And then you got to think for Embiid, you know, particularly given his injury history, might be a little bit longer. So I think there's a chance he could be back before the playoffs. But if you're Philly, obviously, you know, this is a devastating. You know, given the season you were having, obviously we've seen the emergence, further continued emergence of Tyrese Maxey, and
he's a dog.
Yeah, Tobias Harris has been having a really solid season. A lot of their role players have been playing well for them. Oubre, Melton, those guys. So you know, it's going to be fill in by committee. One person can't step in and duplicate what the reigning MVP brings. But certainly, you really wonder how much longer he can play at a high level, given his injury history.
I say about three more years. 3 years.
Yeah, and I kind of feel that way as well. Unless I think the one thing he could do is he could drop weight, because Embiid is probably 290, 300 pounds. If Embiid got to like, say, 255, 260, taking some of the weight and some of the pressure off his knees, I think he could extend his career.
Yeah.
But certainly, you definitely, feel for him. But most, you feel for a guy that we might have seen the best of him, in terms of, just his ability to stay on the floor and be dominant, consistently stand on the floor. So, yeah, you hate it for him. But what are your thoughts?
I hate it for him. It sucks, but it's just, yeah, like you said, I expect for him to like hopefully drop weight, or he got to do something to change dynamic because of him. These consistent injuries, like, don't think like we humans, we not robots. We new repaired and come back and say you're never the same. And like you said, you two are this before. I know after the feeling to do, you might still don't feel the same today. It's like mentally, physically, everything psychologically, your mindset has changed a different dynamic. And it's like Joel Embiid's probably like, and I'm not even probably like over exaggerating by saying it's probably like his 10th surgery, to be honest. It might be more. So, and you don't come back faster, you don't come back stronger like that. That's rare in certain situations, you know what I'm saying? And it don't always happen like that. And then even though if you do see guys who come back faster or stronger, it probably only lasts for like a year or something. Like I think like when Blake Griffin, I think he hurt himself like earlier clip because he came back still jumping the same. By the time he got to like 2 years later, then we got sent to Detroit, he wasn't jumping the same. He had to change his game. So yeah, we might have seen peak Joel Embiid at this point in time, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, now, and that's one thing with his game too, because he does the Euro step a lot. Basket, all that torque on your knees, is just not good. And again, because I've had the injury and I've had the surgery, I will say, definitely it's not it's not career ending, but you obviously know there's a difference, right? There's a difference. And I've had reconstructive knee surgery where I've had torn ACL and torn lateral meniscus, but I was 21 when I had that surgery. 21 when I had that surgery, and then I had the medial meniscus. I had that at 40. So it was very different times. But you rehab. You got to give yourself time to heal. And then, but the biggest thing, not even just the physical, it's the psychological. It's the point where you don't even think about it, and you can just go out and just play, and and do what you do without thinking about your knees not being what they once were.
Well, and then I know he thinks about that all the time because Joel Embiid has been on this process tour with knee injuries. And I don't think Joel will lose weight. I'm sorry. He ain't as bad as I am, but I didn't see this man before games eating double cheeseburgers. So just to expect him to just go change habits and lose weight, I highly doubt it. But my question from the point of how is this a good or bad look that like a guy who is an MVP candidate is now for the not being MVP, but maybe not the MVP so far, but not going to make all NBA team too. Is it going to be a bad look? Because that's what people's complaining about. Like they was like, okay, the main awards we understand MVP, DPOY, cool, but it was like the all NBA team. So how is that going to look that Joel Embiid, who's pretty much like an MVP candidate, is not going to be on like the all NBA team?
Well, I mean, again, I think the reason why it became an issue is because it's tied to money, right? Guys complain about it because it's tied to money. But again, you got to ask yourself, if you're someone who comes to work, right, and you come to work every night, you don't take days off, you don't miss time with sick, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You come to work, and then you got a colleague or a coworker who comes to work 70% of the time. Should y'all get the same pay raise? Should y'all get the same merit increase? Should y'all get the same, recognition? No. I think it applies to the NBA. And I understand, yes, injury factors in. Yes, if you're hurt and you're injured and you're missing time, like Joel Embiid, like somebody else we're going to talk about here in a second, then no, I don't think when you got limited slots for all NBA, because you only got 15 slots for all NBA, you only got 10 slots for all defense. No, you shouldn't necessarily get that same recognition. So that's why I think they put the minimums in. And and again, there's a lot of reasons for it, but I definitely believe that this is going to basically say, hey, listen, if you want these recognitions that are tied to your money, which again, we can argue whether or not that was a good idea to tie that to your money. You gotta come to work, and you gotta play, and you gotta be available to play.
And then they using that against like, oh, but guys get hurt like that. It does happen. It sucks. And I say, okay, since that wouldn't be the case, I say I'm cool with dropping it to 60. That's the lowest I could go is 60. So you want to miss 22 games out of a year. And then honestly, if you going through significant major injuries where you're missing that much time, should you really be on the all NBA list? Like, should you really be on it, with the award conversation? Because it'd be like, yeah, like you said. So perfect example, we got to deal with like Sabonis missing the All-Star game, right? He played every game, and he's a top 10 MVP candidate, and he's not even in the All-Star game. He's right now on the MVP list. I think he's like, last time I checked, it was like eighth or ninth. But he's in the MVP ladder, and he not in the All-Star game. It's crazy to me.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me. I don't understand that. That still ain't sitting right with me.
Listen, I'm gonna keep talking about that until All-Star weekend. So get ready for me to beat that dead.
Don't worry, he could probably be a replacement, but that's still crazy that he could be a replacement. That's dumb. But obviously, with Joel Embiid being eligible for MVP, that opens up the floodgates for who is the MVP leader now. Because me and you both had different picks, but the consistent everybody had Joel Embiid going back to back. The last MVP line I checked, Jokic was as one. Now you know that I had SGA as my pick because the Thunder was lead. Let me check their standings right now. Let me see. I think last time I checked, the Timberwolves were number one in the West. Okay. OKC's back number one, but him and the Timberwolves are tied. So I'm sticking with my pick. I'm sticking with. I think right now the MVP leader is SGA. He got a team as number one seed. He putting up MVP numbers. And this team, and that's because they love narratives. My narrative to push it to is that this team was he took a team that was a play-in team, and this team is young and up and coming, not even at their potential yet, to the number one seed in the West. And obviously the West is very tough from top to bottom. So I'm sticking with SGA as my MVP leader right today. So if it stopped today, SGA is MVP.
Yeah, and again, I think I still have Anthony Edwards. But I understand the SGA argument. Obviously, and again, I think it's going to come down to OKC and Minnesota right now. And certainly, and again, what may hurt SGA is, can you have an MVP and a Rookie of the Year on the same team?
Yes, I say yes.
I think you can. Yeah. I think you can. But and I don't recall historically that ever happening.
No, but I seen a team get an MVP, 6th Man of the Year, DPOI Coach of the Year. So that rookie can happen.
Yeah, that can happen.
That can happen.
Yeah. So it can happen. So I think it'll be interesting to see how the MVP voters vote, and will they say that part of SGA's emergence was obviously the insertion of Chet, and Chet putting up the numbers he put up this year and having a Rookie of the Year type season. Is that going to hurt Chet in the MVP conversation? So I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think Chet I don't think that's gonna hurt Chet from getting Rookie of the Year. I think Wemby hurt his chances of getting it more than him being on the same team with SGA. Because they know that all Wemby got to do is just put up numbers. The award got his name on it. He's the only person that can take that award for Wemby is himself. But also, what about your guy? And he not even top 10 on the list for the last list I checked. Do you think that the Rudy Gobert and the Cat being on his team has hurt him too?
I mean, it may hurt him now. I mean, but you know, the MVP is such a fluid thing, right? The guy that's the favorite in November or December can fall out, you know, because I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna use an example. When Kobe won the MVP, before the Pau Gasol trade, Kobe wasn't in the MVP conversation like that.
No, he wasn't.
It was the Pau Gasol trade and the Lakers going on the run they did.
They took off
in that MVP conversation. Obviously, he won the MVP that year. So, you know, you could see a post All-Star break run from a guy, and it could be Tatum, it could be Luka, it could be Joker. You know, that I think will put a guy in the MVP conversation and the MVP race, you know, I think much more interesting. I think it's good that it's this way because the fact that we're even having this conversation and we got, you know, arguably 7 or 8 guys that could very well end up with the MVP this year. That's great for the NBA. It's great for parity. And it's certainly great for, you know, obviously what we do in this sports talk world.
Yeah, make it easy. What I meant to say was this too, right? And I forgot to put on it, but just want to quick, we ain't gonna prolong on it too long. So obviously, you know, you see the Rudy Gobert thing about him not making an All-Star. He always go through it himself. And then the fans got a negative reaction to him saying, like, at my Hall of Fame speech, I joke about how many times pretty much I got like screwed out my MVPs or talk about how he laughed at a joke. I'm starting to think people, and a lot of people's like laughing at the comments, like he think he MVP. I mean, not MVP, think he's a Hall of Famer. A lot of people don't understand this, Sean, and you can attest to it too. Or if you think I'm wrong, you can tell me how you feel. The NBA Hall of Fame, I'm sorry, not the NBA Hall of Fame, the Basketball Hall of Fame, because a lot of people don't understand that. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's probably the easiest Hall of Fame to get in because they take your whole body of work of basketball from overseas, high school, college, NBA. Sorry to tell y'all, Rudy Gobert will be in the Hall of Fame. He's going to be a Hall of Fame. You can try to politic your way out of it. Maybe y'all can try to use the COVID thing as a joke to politic out of him. You know, like they try to do Dwight, because Dwight Howard is clearly like a Hall of Famer too. Top 75 player all time. But people can politic you out your way. But talk about like that situation and how you feel about the Hall of Fame. But people don't understand how easy it is to get in the Hall of Fame. And Rudy Gobert will be a Hall of Fame.
So let's put this in context, right? Only 4 guys have won Defensive Player of the Year 3 or more times. Dikembe Mutombo, 4 times Hall of Famer. Ben Wallace, 4 times Hall of Famer. Dwight Howard, 3 times will be in the Hall of Fame. And Rudy Gobert, 3 times
will be
likely be in the Hall of Fame.
Will be in the Hall of Fame. Yep.
Is he first ballot? No. But when the time comes to discuss his career, it's going to be in that same conversation of Mutombo and Ben Wallace. And I think probably more Ben Wallace than Mutombo, but it's going to be in that same conversation. And those accolades themselves, I think, will be the difference.
And then, Sean, the last thing that we're going to move on. People don't realize this, and I still brought this up to this day, and people get mad that I said, because I said Derrick Rose going to make the Hall of Fame too. And they were like, oh, Derrick Rose ain't accomplished stuff. Once Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, did C Webb, right? C Webb just made it, right?
C Webb just made it, yes.
No. C Webb, but I ain't going to do C Webb like that. I ain't going to do C Webb. T-Mac, Grant Hill. Once they made it, they opened the floodgates for everything. And if I'm wrong, please somebody tell me who has accomplished more in their career, Tracy McGrady or Rudy Gobert. I presume it'll probably be Rudy Gobert because I don't think T-Mac got many that major awards. And then if not Rudy, T-Mac, if you want to argue T-Mac, who accomplished more in their career, Grant Hill or Rudy Gobert? And by far, Rudy Gobert. So that's why, I don't understand why y'all guys argue to hate the man. Y'all might not like how he played, but he got awarded, put in work. He did it on the other side of the ball that y'all don't pay attention to. That's why we get more offensive games. We getting 60, 60, 70, 70, 70, all these point games. Because y'all care more about that. Y'all don't care about the other side of the ball. But I digress. Sean, it's NBA trade week. Would it be an NBA trade week? I'm going to just do simple because obviously we got to wait until everything going on. I just need who you think will be the first team to make a move or need to make a move. And who is the first player you seeing traded?
So before the other day, I would have said Philly. I thought Philly was a team that needed to make a move. And Philly still may make a move, right? They still might make a move.
Maybe.
But I think it's going to come down to they must have some inside knowledge on they're getting a specific guy this summer in free agency. That would be the only reason why they're not making a move.
Yep.
And even then, that can always fall through, right? We've seen that happen, right? Where teams, had that max cap space and they don't get anyone. So, Philly was a team I thought for a fact would make a move. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be a quiet trade deadline in terms of big moves. You're going to see a lot of smaller moves. You're going to see teams trying to move contracts to get out in front of the CBA that officially in this summer. We talked about it the other day. Some guys we threw out there. I think Bruce Brown will probably move. A team will say, "Yeah, we think he's the missing piece." The other team I feel like should make a move, but again, I don't know what the move is now. Is Sacramento. I've been saying that for the beginning of the season. I feel like they got to do something. They just feel like they are where they are.
And they stagnant. It was like they peaked last year, and then they just stay where they was at. Right, you can't do that.
Right, yeah. So I feel like they got to do something. Everybody's going to look at Golden State, of course. I don't see Golden State unless short of maybe Wiggins, if they can move Wiggins. But again, I don't think that. I think a lot of these moves are just better made during the off-season. So I just don't see there being a lot of action on at the trade deadline.
And then if you had to pick a player, who you pick? You said Bruce Brown, right?
Bruce Brown would be the guy with him. Yeah, he would be the one. The other guy I would really seriously look at is Jeremy Grant.
Jeremy Grant,
being in Portland, does a team look at him and say, "Hey, yeah, we think he's potentially the missing piece, to help us get over." So yeah, I don't see there being a lot of crazy action during the trade deadline.
I think it's going to be action, but I think it's going to be hard because of the offseason and the new CBA, and I feel like a lot of teams are concerned about that, and that's why, like a guy like Zach LaVine, who didn't get moved, it almost got sent to Detroit, but we're gonna talk about that in a second. But for me, the team that I picked that need to make a move or should make a move is the Golden State Warriors. I feel like they have to do something. And Mike Dunleavy pretty much already said he's not going to be the guy to break up this core. So Steph, Clay, Draymond going to stay together. Cool. You got to bring a different dynamic to the situation. And I know Kuminga is going crazy, but I still don't feel like they appreciate Kuminga enough. I think Kuminga will get the full just due if he's in a whole different situation. Or you got to he's balling out. Wiggins is the guy you can move and maybe get something for him or something to add on to the piece. Or you could just use getting rid of Wiggins to fully unleash Kuminga and let him do his thing because be the same. Draymond ain't gonna be the same. But if you go keep the core together, then it is what it is. The player that
let me ask you something. Just brought up Golden State. Don't you kind of feel like they should be looking at bringing Wiseman back?
Maybe, but I just feel like that ship is sailed, and then I don't feel like Wiseman don't believe they got confidence in him. But they shouldn't have moved him in the first place. But maybe you could, but I think because if you just really want a big body, I'll probably call Chicago and just go get Andre Drummond. And then, that's somebody probably just as cheap. But because it look weird trading back for him. That's the only thing I feel like. Because I agree with the move. They're like, yeah, go get Wiseman. But I just feel like it's just going to be too much weird stuff with going back to go get him.
Yeah, I mean, guys have been traded and
came back before.
So usually it's a veteran guy, it's not a young guy. So it would be kind of unprecedented, but at the same time, it feels like they need a big body badly. Yeah, just badly, and and Detroit, obviously they're stacked with bigs. You probably don't have to give up a lot to get them. And
you don't.
And again, you get his bird rights back. He's not going to command a huge contract this offseason. So could you sign him to a team friendly deal, and and still try to develop him and Kuminga. Going forward. I think Kuminga. We know Kuminga is going to be really good. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I think it's about team friendly. He better take whatever deal he can get. It's gonna be highly team friendly. He gotta take whatever deal you can get, young man. Yeah. For me, the player that I can see that's going to get moved, I don't want it to happen, but since the Bulls laid down the foundation, the player I see getting moved is Alex Caruso. I don't want Alex Caruso to get traded, obviously, but it is what it is. I think the Warriors been high on Alex Caruso. The Bucks, I think they just problem money wise, or they can't put the package together because they said they want an OG Anunoby type package. OG Anunoby, they traded what? RJ Barrett, quickly, RJ Barrett quickly. So now if you get something like that in a first round pick, I'm down with that. You give me two young players in a pick, you got to go. I wouldn't mind. Look, if you send it to the Warriors, give us Kuminga a pick, and
I think Kuminga's not on the table at all.
Yeah, they can't. But he'll rock with Steve Kerr either way.
Yeah, but I don't think he's on the table. I think they still are super, super high on him. So I don't think he's on the table. I think you got a better chance to get Moody than you do Kuminga.
Yeah, I'm good on that. Moody ain't the answer. Salute, Sturdy. Yeah, salute, Sturdy. Chris. So speaking of NBA trades, though, this is hilarious when I see this happen. I said this man a slick dog. You ask Bulls Zach LaVine has season-ending surgery on his foot amid NBA trade rumors. So Zach LaVine asked for a trade. All the Lakers, Lakers. So they figured that he could force his way to. When he was out, we started winning when they was out. So it was like, man, Zach don't affect winning, which is not necessarily true. But when you try to trade for something or you trying to get something, and you got it like when it's an exchange process, you always go try to lowball. You never go try to overpay for everything. You like unless it's like one of those obvious things where you can't have no choice, you can get it for a discount. And then also what messed it up was Zach LaVine contract. He getting paid like in the Luka range. He getting paid in the big boy range, or he not putting up big boy numbers. Right. And, like I said with the CBA, the only team that was finna trade for it was Detroit. And then the trade noise with Detroit started to get hot. Like it was like, okay, this might be legit. Soon as LaVine heard that the trade was the trade talk Detroit was legit, he went and got surgery. I got the dad laugh. That man said who to Detroit? Hell no, to the no. That's exactly what he did. Sean, what was your reaction to that? Do you think Zach LaVine took season injuries to not go to Detroit, or he just, or was he just hurt?
I think he's legitimately hurt. I don't think he, has a surgery that's going to keep him out 4 to 6 months if he's not legitimately hurt. Mm-hmm. Whether or not he wanted to be traded to Detroit or not, obviously that's another thing. But here's the thing: he can still get moved before Thursday. He can still get moved this offseason, which I think is more likely he gets moved this offseason. It's just going to be a matter of what are the Bulls willing to attach to him to move that contract, right?
I've been hearing Patrick Williams, but I don't know.
Yeah, and again, I don't see Patrick Williams is I think restricted free agent this offseason. He's extension eligible. I don't see them doing that and a team wanting that. I think are you willing to give up an unprotected future first to move off of Zach's contract, and obviously you got to something back. So it's a very interesting situation for the Bulls, and obviously you got DeRozan who's likely to walk this offseason, as well. So at this point, you just if
don't trade for him either. This is crazy to me. Nobody wants DeMar DeRozan, nothing.
Well, yeah, again, I think it's nobody wants to trade for a rental. I think they understand that he's likely to test the market and go where he wants to go, wherever that might be. And so yeah, I think it's really going to come down to what are you willing to attach to that contract to move it, and what are you willing to take back?
Yeah. FC Robert, as how you feel about Lonzo back in the gym. I mean, that's cool, but until I see him on the actual Bulls court under the light, defending and dropping off passes, then I done seen him on the court before. Then he done tricked me, man. So I ain't trying to get even hyped up and excited. And then honestly, I just let him coast because he go just get in the way of Kobe White, bro. Nah, Kobe White cookie too much. We just got to rock with who the high hand is. Like, shit, scrap 100%. I would have my Harrison, Monte Hayes, Saucer, and Stewart for Zach. 3 young players, 2 decent vets on expired contract. Can't do that. You ain't giving me no picks, but a pick set. And then we need Boban, and we need Ivy in there. So you got to take. We want Bogdanovich. We need Ivy. We honestly need the Thompson twin too. We honestly keep it a buck, which y'all got to add more. The Knickerbockers are interested in DeMar DeRozan, but who would y'all give up? And I don't think DeMar DeRozan fit what y'all doing with Tibbs. He don't play enough defense, and he want the ball in his hand too much. I think DeMar would mess with their chemistry, to me, if you ask me. Yeah. Salute Lamont, too. Lamont Lane in the building. Okay, speaking of the Knickerbockers, too.
Gotta get Lamont on here. So.
Yeah. Football season almost over. I don't want to do it in the midst of like the football season. So probably after the Super Bowl, Lamont, we're gonna get you on. Probably that'll be kind of perfect, like the week after the trade deadline, after the Super Bowl over with. So probably like next Friday. So I got to catch him. You know he be coaching and stuff. We gotta get Mon on though. Yeah, Mon, we gonna get you on. Speaking of the Knickerbockers, we talk about trades. A lot of people believe that this came from Brian Windhorst too. Also, they believe that LeBron James is using the Knicks to pressure the Lakers into trade to making a trade by the NBA trade deadline. Using the, LeBron, Mr. Subliminal, using the Knicks towel. Oh, New York. I always, what I'm saying, that's popping up. How y'all always want to play for New York. Trade me to New York. And then Rich Paul, like, bro, we don't want no trade. Saying this. Then we put the time thing on there. Then we put the Statue of Liberty on my Twitter. Man, LeBron got to stop, man. Like, at some point, don't get me wrong. If he truly wanted to go to New York, don't pull a Carmelo Anthony. Just wait till the offseason. You go to the team where they got a whole bunch of assets. You can do what you want to do. Sign maybe for a little bit less. And you go to the Knicks and possibly build a championship team. But stop with this passive. This got to stop. Let's stop with this passive aggressiveness, bro. Like, this ain't the only way you get your way, bro. It don't work as well because you older, bro. What can help LeBron win a championship? One, he got to learn how to take a back seat. And 2, he got to go to a team that's good. The Lakers not a good enough team to win championship. But even if I want your opinion on this, and do you think LeBron will ever take a back seat to be an actual number 2 or actual number 3 if the team is good enough? I say no.
I mean, I don't think he'll ever necessarily take a back seat. I think he is willing to, when you got a guy like D Wade or Kyrie. You're willing to let those guys cook because you know how talented they are with the ball in their hand. We've seen them do that, but at the end of the day, LeBron got to be who LeBron is, and even in year 21, going into obviously next season, year 22, going to be who he is, right? And so, I don't think it's so much taking a back seat. I think the reality of it is LeBron feels like he wants to still compete for championships. There's not a lot of places he can just walk into and they can do that. Without them giving up something significant to get him in a trade. So, and honestly, me personally, if he's going to go anywhere, go back to Cleveland, finish it out in Cleveland.
That would have been nice.
That'd have been nice if you're going to me, if that's what you're going to do, just go finish it out in Cleveland.
And I think that's a hand in glove fit in Cleveland because they go right to the 3. It is kind of bad because Garland and Donovan Mitchell is small in the front court, but Garland, Mitchell, LeBron, Evan Mobley, Allen, that's a nice 5. That's you can do some damage with that.
Yeah. And again, he's got a player option this offseason. I don't see him declining it because it's $51 million.
Yeah,
LeBron likes his money. We know LeBron likes his money. Listen, I heard the Miami rumors. I was like, nah, we good.
That's
we good.
crazy. I heard the Chicago rumors. I'm like, nah.
We good. Yeah, we good.
Only way I'm cool with him because in Chicago, that means if we finna go all out for a championship and build it out, that's cool. But
Yeah,
I think LeBron thinking legacy wise, if he truly was thinking about this, because if I told people this before he went to the Lakers, I said if LeBron goes to the Knicks and win, he's gonna be labeled to go over Michael Jordan because how the Knicks media and how the Knicks push everything, and the Knicks ain't done nothing in so long. Because I said it hit different in LA because the LA fan base is spoiled and they won so many times. That's like you can't go to LA and win one championship. They look at LeBron LA run as a failure. But if you'd have went to New York and won one championship, that championship outweighs everything. And New York is the biggest media town. LeBron will have a statue out there. And I think if he really wanted to be ahead of Mike and have it pushed, he should have went to New York or LA. Because it don't hit the same unless you three-peat in LA. You got to go to the finals 5 times in LA in a row or 3 in a row. You got to do something that's going to take it over to the next level. But New York, you can win one, and it's a celebration. You're going to be loved forever. But speaking of being loved forever, Doc Rivers must be loved forever because after 3 games on the job, Sean, he was named the Eastern Conference All-Star coach. I ain't never seen this happen before. This might be the first time in history somebody get the All-Star coaching job off 3 games. What did Doc do in those 3 games to get the job, Sean?
Go 1-2.
Bro, it's starting to become a joke, dog. I'm sorry. The All-Star game started to become a joke, bro. It is. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Can you explain this to me? I was confused. I think you text me this. Yeah, you text me this. I'm like, I was confused. I'm still confused. Like, I just said, oh, I'm sorry. True said 1-3, actually.
1-3. No, 1-3 now. I'm sorry. 1-3. Yeah.
Salute, Blue Ball. Yep. He should have went there, yeah. Or the Bulls. If you want to go to the Bulls and win, if it like you uplift Mike, but that would have probably been had. But I don't know, Sean. This was bad. This was bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a joke. I mean, it's an absolute joke.
It is.
But it's a joke. I mean, I laughed when I saw. I was like, "This is ridiculous." And the fact, yeah, and True has been talking about Doc for years.
He got a close look at Doc too, so I believe
Doc. I mean, listen again. Take away Doc's first season in Orlando, and that 2008 season. Doc has largely been a very bad coach.
He probably in that bottom tier. If you take away them two years, is he a top 50 coach all time?
No. But he made top 15.
I don't know how.
But you know what it is? It's very telling how bad NBA coaching has been when Doc makes top 15 all time.
I'm gonna do my research. We're gonna have to have this conversation. I don't think with them 2 years he top 15 either. And if he top 15, he better be. Was he 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
they try to.
So
I'm saying, was he number 15 though?
I mean, of course they don't put it in the order. They don't tell you what the order is.
Yeah,
I gotta assume he was number 15.
Why they probably had him in the top 10.
Just got in. Blue Boat asked about Joe Mazzulla. Why was Joe Mazzulla not the All-Star game?
I feel like he should have got it over Doc.
So basically it's the Pat Riley rule. So during the 80s, the Lakers were basically winning every year. So Pat Riley was always the All-Star game coach. But they put in a rule that basically said you can't coach in consecutive All-Star games. So because of so basically the Pat Riley rule. So Joe Mazzulla was the coach last year for the All-Star game. He is eliminated. He cannot coach the All-Star game this year.
That's dumb. I think you could at least say you can't do it 2 years. You can't do 3 years in a row. But if it's just like if you're just elite like that as a coach, I think you should go back to back. Wait a minute. Now you got me thinking. Popovich didn't go back. I think Popovich coached 2 All-Star games back to back before, right? At this firm. Bill didn't either.
It's always been that's been the rule since I want to say it was they really put it in place I want to say in the 90s, but it was during the 80s that it was like every year Pat Riley was the coach of the West team.
Yeah, that's crazy. He said I think Doc is good but overrated. I don't think he good, but I know he overrated. Let's go ahead switch to this gridiron of football time. Let's go ahead and get to the football. Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, it seemed like he was straightforward going to the Commanders, but he ended up going back to Detroit, which I think is a smart decision over the Commanders, because I think another guy went to the Commanders. We're going to talk about him next. And I think him going there was a bad decision. But he was reportedly turned off by the Commanders because of the basketball guys. This ain't the first time I'm hearing like guys complain about the front office not being like football people. They'll have with Pete Carroll with the Seahawks. So what could the conversation could have been, Sean, that turned them off from the basketball guys?
Who knows? I mean, because again, at the end of the day, what's a basketball guy like Josh Harris, who owns the Commanders, who's the majority owner for the Commanders, also owns the Sixers. So, and I know they had Bob Myers. They brought in Bob Myers to consult. They brought in, I believe, Rick Spielman, the former GM of Minnesota, to consult. So, what is the basketball guys thing? I think it's when you're the head coach, when you're coming in as to interview as the head coach, they're not talking X's and O's. They're generally talking about what is your team building and your cultural philosophy. You know, how do you think you can? Why would you be the best person for this particular job? Right. So it's not so much about X's and O. We know Ben Johnson had a very good season X and O wise, not disputed. So and apparently they say he didn't interview well, which again I always hate when they use that language. What exactly does that mean? You know,
because I don't think you can't use that term for this situation, because it's like just as much as he tried to get the job as the Commanders, you gotta convince him that this is the job for him too. So maybe he went to there and maybe he felt like, because don't get me wrong, we all done went through trying to get jobs plenty of time. Have you ever been in have you ever been in a situation where you like listen to them talking about a job and you just thinking and sitting in an interview like, nah, this ain't for me. So that you just like, oh, I'm just gonna be in his interview until I get out of it. I'm already walking about it. So maybe that probably happened where he was listening to what they were saying, listening to what their game plans was. He was just like, yeah, nah, this ain't one for me. So he probably just flunked the interview out. That's what I think when I hear that, because I'm like, just as much as he wants this job as the Commanders, it is different when you're trying to persuade a coach, because you got to persuade the coach to want to coach you too, especially the Commanders, because Commanders ain't no paradise destination where you want to go to.
Well, I mean, it was considered one of the better openings this offseason, right? Part because they have cap space. They are in Washington. They got new ownership. Not Dan Snyder anymore. You got the number 2 pick, which again, there was some sneaky news that happened earlier with their coordinator.
Oh yeah. I know your opinion on that.
So it was considered one of the better jobs, which is why when they hired Dan Quinn, I was kind of like, because they thought they would get one of the bigger names because of all the things they have going for them, compared to other openings. So, yeah, I mean, again, I hope he doesn't cost himself. Say the Lions have a rough season next year, he's not going to be a head coaching candidate, I won't think. So hopefully he didn't cost himself an opportunity to be a head coach by going in there and being, overly stupid.
Yeah, keep that point that you said. Quick note, because I forgot to put it in here, but I want to go crazy because the point you just said gonna lead to our next segue. But you talking about the Kingsbury move, right? The Kingsbury move. Was that a Caleb Williams move, or was that a move because Kingsbury is a guy who could fix the offense? I think it was a Caleb Williams move.
I mean, you got to connect the dots, right?
2 plus 2 is 4 to me. 1 plus 1.
Right. And when the head coach comes in, oftentimes they want to build their own staff. They're not trying to keep a lot of guys from the same previous staff, unless that's somebody they worked with before, they have a good rapport with, blah, 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 understand what they want to do. So, it's not surprising that they brought in Kingsbury. But again, I think what it is telling that, obviously he came from USC last week, Williams. They apparently have a really good relationship. Caleb Williams is from the DC area.
And he just posted that too. Congrats. He was like, congrats to him.
So, I'm not saying, 1 plus 1 is 2, but it would seem that, Washington will be calling Chicago about that number 1 pick and, trying to have some discussions on how to get it so they can get Caleb Williams.
And everybody going crazy to think like the Bears going to get a haul for that pick, not from the Commanders. So I'm going to let y'all know that right now, not from the Commanders, because they only 1 pick behind. But you brought up a point about how, like, if Ben Johnson does not, if the Lions have a good season, Ben Johnson might not be guaranteed a head coaching job. But Sean, sometimes, but this person didn't take a head coaching job, but sometimes the grass ain't always green on the other side. So sometimes you might just need to stay where you're at. And Eric Bieniemy is seeing that because now he will not be on the Commanders coaching staff. Dan Quinn has announced that he's letting him go. First of all, with the Eric Bieniemy situation, which we was texting and talking about earlier, I felt like you shouldn't have left the Chiefs if it wasn't going to be for a head coaching job. And, you let all the noise get to you about, I need to prove myself. It ain't Andy Reid, it's me. I'm doing my job. I can do next level. So you go to a bad situation, worse than the Chiefs. You could have been back with the Chiefs, back in the Super Bowl, add more cachet to yourself. Then came into this offseason where it was a plethora of head coaching jobs. Now think about this. Eric Bieniemy, obviously, great. Everybody was raving about him. If he was still on the Chiefs now and they went back to the Super Bowl again, you don't think he would have got one of these head coaching jobs this time? It could have been. It would have been undeniable at this point. Like, you probably got to give him a chance. Now we got the Atlanta, you got the Seahawks, Chargers, but the Chargers don't hit the hardball. The Commanders too. I think he would have got an opportunity. So I think he made a mistake and he's seeing it now.
I don't think this season was going to, short of them going on a crazy run in Washington. I don't think this season was going to change the perception of Eric Bieniemy as a head coach candidate any more than last season did, right? Or the previous seasons. I think what he wanted to do was to show he could go to another situation and have some success, right? Because, again, everybody kept saying, well, it's Andy Reid calls plays, it's Andy Reid's blah, blah, blah. And, but they never said that when Matt Nagy got a job. They didn't say that when, Doug Peterson got a job. They didn't say that when Frank Wright got. So my whole point was, why is it all of a sudden the case with Eric Bieniemy that is Andy Reid and blah, blah, blah. So sometimes, you got to go to prove. Obviously, he went to a situation where there was a lame duck head coach, lamed up because it was brand new ownership was coming in. Ron Rivera was probably never coming back again, short of going on a Super Bowl run. He was probably not coming back. So it wasn't the best situation to go to, but I don't think him staying in Kansas City was going to help him. Because, again, what would he have done this year in Kansas City different than last year that people would have said, well, yeah, we got to bring this guy in and give him a real shot to be our head coach. I just think these openings that have been open so far don't think he's an NFL head coach.
When you put it that way, yeah, that's tough. That's tough. You just crushed my dreams with it, man. I'm like, yeah, when you put it that way. Because I'm like, dang, he went to the Super Bowl where they give him more credit, but you was like, they already, yeah. You don't think Atlanta would have possibly took him? The Falcons? I mean, not the Falcons, the Commanders? Well, obviously, they didn't take him as the head coach either. The Seahawks, baby?
I mean, these are teams that had openings, and they went in other directions, and I don't even think all these teams even talked to him.
I don't think no team talked to him, honestly. So what's next for Eric B then? Where you see him going?
I mean, I think it'll be interesting. I think Seattle potentially could be a job. They got a brand new head coach who just hired Jim Harbaugh's son to be the special teams coordinator. So he's starting to fill out that staff. He'll likely be the defensive coordinator, or at least heavily involved with defense. Can he bring in someone like Eric Bieniemy to run the offense? They got the pieces on offense. We know they do.
Yes, sir.
They can be really successful. So I would say Seattle would probably be the place I would look for him to land, given there's not a lot of hot offensive coordinators out there anymore. And Eric Bieniemy, we obviously know, can coordinate an offense. He can run an offense. So
he run offense. Yeah, he can.
I think Seattle would be the choice.
Okay, speaking of offense, a former player feels that he is eyeing an NFL comeback. A very talented player that wants to shoot, and that one team that he was on. But he said he will only play for one team. And that former player is running back Le'Veon Bell. Said he's eyeing an NFL comeback, but he will only play for one team, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brother, I hate to tell you this. People here want ice water too. And it ain't gonna happen. It is not gonna happen. First of all, the first problem you run into is that the running back room is packed over there in Pittsburgh, and I don't think they need a running back room. Two, the running back position has been anointed to a young man position. When I really say young man position, I mean a cheaper price position where they can pay you lower than less. And then they don't usually bring old NFL players back, especially not running backs. So 3 strikes and you're out, my brother. 3 strikes and you're out. So I say this is a 0.0 chance of happening.
Can I say this? I think if Le'Veon Bell is serious about an NFL comeback, go play in the UFL.
Or the XFL? Yeah. I can see that. Just dominate.
Yeah, go play in the UFL. Show that you still got some tread on the tires. He's 31. With his running style, he's not a speed guy, but he's a guy that loves to set up his box, and so he's a unique style runner. If you're really serious about an NFL comeback, go play in the UFL. Show them this spring that you still got something left. And if teams see you and say, "Hey, yeah, we think this guy still got something left," blah blah blah. But the fact that you say you only play for one team,
it's crazy.
Yeah, to me, tells me you're not really that serious about trying to come back. I understand you had your peak and your highlight of your career in Pittsburgh, but still seem pretty set at running back between Najee Harris and Jalen third Jalen Warren. So I don't see there being a spot for you there.
And then I meant to add that fourth, like you limited that too. You limit yourself to one team. That was crazy to say. I'm only gonna play for one team. Like, who the hell he think? Excuse my French, but who the hell he think he is if I only can play for one team? You better take whatever job that's available. What's wrong with you, man? If you want to retire, just sign a 1-day contract and retire and still live. If that's the case, there's no way you do that. So, Sean, a Belichick got a job. Belichick got a job. We all thought Belichick was gonna get a job, and guess what he did? But it's not the Belichick you think of. Steve Belichick is expected to become the University of Washington defensive coordinator. I'm shocked, man. The Belichick got a job. I didn't think it was gonna happen, man. Belichick was interviewing here and there, but yeah. I feel bad for him because they lost so many players, bro. It's just like you come to a depleted situation. So that's the only thing I feel bad for him for. But what was your reaction to Belichick getting a job at the University of Washington?
I mean, it's good for him. He's still a young guy. Got a chance to continue to build his resume outside of his dad. So good for him. Hopefully he'll have some success out there. And good for him. I wanted to mention something we didn't bring it up in the last story. My apologies with Le'Veon Bell. Tiki Barber tried to come back 4 years after retiring.
Retired. Okay.
Nobody touched him. Right. So running backs, once you retire and you're out for a couple of years, it's pretty much over. But anyway, but good job for Belichick. And hopefully he can, build his name outside of his dad.
Yeah, I hope so too. Sure. So we was always talking about how crazy how Belichick could get a job. Maybe nobody didn't want to go with the old guy who could speak to the young guys, but he's like, this is a guy who's 15 games away from breaking the record, arguably the greatest coach of all time.
Yes.
How he couldn't get a job. Come to find out, allegedly, this from the show Boomer and Geo. It's a radio show. The one of the hosts, Boomer, said one of the sources hit him up and let him know that possibly Belichick turned down the Falcons coaching offer. Do you believe this? And if so, what would make Belichick turn down the offer?
I don't think Belichick turned down the offer, a coaching offer. I think the Falcons looked at the structure of their front office and did not want to change that for a short-term coach. Because we talked about, you bring in Bill Belichick, he's a short-term coach. You're talking maybe 2-3 years at most. And then when he leaves, if you don't have a coach in waiting, if you don't have your front office structured a certain way, you might be in a bad way. And I don't think they ever offered Bill Belichick. I think they were serious about talking to him because, again, it's Bill Belichick.
He had 2 interviews.
Yeah, you want to talk to him. But I just don't think where they are. And again, this is about not just their team, the structure of their front office. And Arthur Blank was looking more for a long-term solution. They got a really good young GM in Terry Fontenot. Obviously, Rich McKay is the CEO, and Arthur Blank is very involved. They wanted to bring in someone who could work within that triumvirate, and that's why they didn't offer Bill Belichick the job. I don't think he turned down the job. I just don't think they offered it to him because of what they would have had to do had they offered it to him.
Now, Sean, I believe that he turned down the job, but for every reason that we were saying, because we always said, the problem with Bill Belichick going to your situation in your team, every time he walks in the room, he's the smartest football man in there. So everything pretty much Bill Belichick gonna say go. I think the Falcons was willing to, hey, look, you could be the head coach. We're gonna give you some say-so, but we gonna run our thing how we run it, or we're gonna try to run it best for you. I think Bill Belichick wanted more control of everything. And it's like the Falcons probably wasn't willing to give up everything, like you said, for a short-term problem. I think Belichick said, okay, well, I don't want to do it. Because I think Belichick knows that he's labeled the GOAT, smartest football man. He gonna want fully control of everything. He probably want to control the general manager. He probably was gonna try to change everything about the Falcons from top to bottom. And like you just brought up, is that worth doing for a 3-year run? Because I figure that if he get one more bowl and once he break the record, he's done. He's retiring instantly. In one of the two. I think if he get, obviously, I think the record, if he get the record and it don't like win the Super Bowl, I think he retire. But if he get that bowl and the record, the second, say if like the first year with the Falcons, he do win the Super Bowl, after he break the record, he's retiring that year. He's instantly retiring that year. And once you get that happening, now you change the whole structure from top to bottom to be Belichick. So unless you're going to put him in the front office or be up top to overlook everything that he made, then no, you cook. You cook.
Yeah.
You cooked in the situation. So I had to pull this up too. That's why funny story happened today. So obviously, have you ever heard of the YouTuber Super High Fire?
Yes.
The battle rapper, yes.
Yes.
So I don't know how this man to keep doing it, but get people, but to get Eli Manning on there is crazy. And Eli Manning trolled Tom Brady during the battle. I hope the clip I found, I hope it's right on the part when he said the part that he said. Let me see. Eli Manning trolling Tom Brady. Let me see. Let's watch all that. Oh, I gotta pull up the other one. Hold on. Stop sharing screen. I gotta put it up on this one because it probably looked better on screen. Nope, it looked the same. Okay, so wait, let me go back. I thought it would have been like a nice size, but it's cool. Whatever. We can do it on the ESPN. Let's try it again. All right.
Are you ready? You ready? Go ahead, Ephesians. I'm Eli Manning. I'm nice. Tom Brady's the GOAT. Sight! I beat him twice! Hold me back! Hold me back! Hold me back!
He's hot. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on Tom Brady reaction to that. I'm waiting on Tom Brady reaction to that. That's gonna be hilarious. Whoever wrote that for Eli, you a cold dog, and that's crazy. But that is also a funny thing, though, Sean, because Tom Brady is labeled to go, but Eli is the only guy who can say he beat him twice. And Eli Manning is gonna make the Hall of Fame because he beat the GOAT twice. You know that, right?
Yeah, of
And
course.
he a Manning. And he a Manning. That's number 3. Manning and he a Manning. So that's crazy. So
Yeah.
what was your reaction when you see? Did you laugh at that when you see
I
it?
laughed. I thought it was hilarious. You know, one thing about Eli Manning, a lot of people, he's got kind of a real underrated sense of humor.
Mm.
And he's not afraid to pick fun at himself or, you know, at Peyton, obviously, and other things.
That's
But
great.
yeah, I like what he's doing post career because, you know, they got the
Yes.
Manning cast and he does, you know, some of the stuff where he travels around and he'll be in character, like he does this character Chad Powers.
Oh yeah, Chad, man, that'd be funny. That'd be funny.
Football. So yeah, I like that he's doing that. Shout out to Eli Manning, though. That was good.
Shout out, and then NFL, shout out y'all, because NBA, instead of having former players on your other show, ESPN2, you want to have Kevin Hart and the Plastic Cup freaking boys on the. That's bro, Sean, I literally accidentally went to it, so I'm thinking this is like a little commercial thing. I'm watching the game. I'm like, bro, why is Kevin Hart on here? And they just talking about anything, right? I'm like, bro, get this off my TV, bro. It made me irritated watching the game. I'm just like, why do they got Kevin Hart and the Plastic Cup boys over here, man? That was, but also too, with that being said, I don't want nobody like Eli Manning getting credit for beating Tom Brady twice, and nobody stopped him from being saying he ain't the GOAT. He beat with Eli beating him. So I want him no excuse with Patrick Mahomes break all the records, and he can't be the GOAT because Tom Brady beat him one time. I don't want to hear it. That is the show, though, Sean. Another great episode as always. I didn't get the chance to look it up. I tried to sneak it and look it up, but this is episode.
I got one for this one. Yeah, I do have one for this one.
Okay, what you got?
So episode 49, 49, not a popular jersey number, but Carl Weathers, the actor who passed away last week, played Apollo Creed in Rocky, recently played in The Mandalorian, was in Happy Gilmore, Action Jackson, In the Heat of the Night, a bunch of stuff. Been an actor for a long time. He actually played for the Raiders in the NFL. Played linebacker for the Raiders. Yes, played in the NFL.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Carl Weathers. Is my number 49. Wasn't a great NFL player or anything like that. He was kind of a guy, special teamer, but he wore number 49 for the Raiders. So rest in peace to Carl Weathers. One of the listen. If you know nothing about the Rocky series, the Rocky series is nothing without a Creed.
No,
right?
It's not that. R.I.P. Apollo.
Right, and Apollo Creed was based on Muhammad Ali. And Carl Weathers embodied that character, through and through. So yeah, so definitely Carl Weathers is my number 49.
Okay, my number 49, because I looked down the list. I was going to sneak and just say Tremaine Edmonds, go to easy out, but it's this man named Rich Barnes, because he got the same last name, so I'm picking him. NFL player, 6-time Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro, 3-time second team All-Pro. He played for the Giants, the Bears, and the Cleveland Browns from 1958 to 1971. I'm taking Rich Barnes, same last name, and he's a black guy, so I'm going to go ahead and support the black guy. That's crazy. I did not know the dude from Rocky played football. I like these guys actually play sports though, like the big athletic guys in Hollywood. They always have like a sports background or something. Like if they go do wrestling, people didn't even know that Debo used to be Zeus. Wrestling, though, a lot of these guys do multiple things, man.
Yeah, so a lot of your blaxploitation stars in the 70s, a lot of the men that they transitioned from sports to acting, and a lot of it came football. So someone like Carl Weathers, Fred Williamson, obviously Jim Brown, you had a lot of those guys who played in the NFL, and even guys who were in the NFL who were acting in a lot of those movies at that time. Joe Green was in a movie, movies and stuff like that. So it was huge. And O.J. Simpson, obviously, you know. So yes, So yeah.
On that note, no, we shut it down on that note. But also you ain't gonna find nobody 6'4", 6'5" and above and an athletic freak that can fit the image of what you want and can do stuff crazy. You gotta go get an athlete, bro.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
See you guys later. This has been Real Takes Over Fake Debate. See you guys on Friday.
Super Bowl predictions on Friday. Super Bowl breakdown predictions on Friday coming for you. Yes.
But we already know Patrick Mahomes when they get another one. It's there. It's ready. It's already ready.
Yeah.
We gonna see though. This is Real Takes Over Fake Debate, and we're out of here.
Worker man.